Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. This dictionary helps you write and speak better. This dictionary helps you write and speak better English, understand more easily and more quickly, avoid common mistakes, learn more effectively. The dictionary that really teaches you English. Millions of students around the world have improved their written and spoken English using the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. This edition will help you write and speak better English, understanding more easily and more quickly, avoid common mistakes, learn more effectively. More information, easier to use, easy to understand definitions written within a definition vocabulary. So let's go to the. Yeah, welcome to the video. My name is Valdo. Welcome for you which are in for first time in my YouTube channel, and for you which are always over here. You know what content I'm talking about usually. So in the day of today on this live, I'm going to speak about uh, nouns and adjectives, but all the contents of Oxford Linus Dictionary. So let's go to the goal of what I'm talking about for today in this live. So don't forget to put your like and to share. So if you're watching after the live, don't forget also to share and to put your like, because the like is important to make YouTube understand that the content is very important for sharing for others. So let's go to the video. For first returning, I would like to also to make understand in the place I'm talking about in alright in the town bank. I'm in Mozambique. I'm from Mozambique. I'm in Mozambican. So let's go. Uh, what I'm going to talk over here is in about you can find in Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary of Current English. Nouns and adjectives. Nouns, we say too much sugar but too many shares. Nouns are, nouns are of different types according to whether they have both a singular and a plural form, whether they must be used with a determiner such as a, a, both, each, the, and whether a verb should be singular or plural in order to agree with the noun. All nouns are marked and in the dictionary. Grammar information is given in square brackets to show which group each meaning of a noun belongs to. The groups are explained below. Countable and accountable. The two biggest groups of nouns are countable nouns and accountable nouns. Most countable nouns or count nouns are words for separate things which can be counted, like apples, books, or teachers. Uncountable nouns, also called uncount nouns or mass nouns, are usually words for things which are thought of as a quantity or mass, like water or time, not as separate items. However, there are some nouns in English which you might expect to be countable but which are not. For example, future, furniture, information, and equipment are all accountable nouns in English, although they are countable nouns in some other languages. Countable nouns. A countable noun has a singular form and a plural form. When it is singular, it must always have a determiner in front of it. Most nouns can be used with the following determiners: any, no, the, what, which, was, and the possessive determiners my, their, your, and all. Countable nouns in the singular can also be used with a, another, each, either, every, neither, that, this. In the plural, they can be used with both, enough, few, many, more, most, other, several, some, this, those, or without a determiner at all. I am having a driving lesson this afternoon. She's learning to play golf. She's had several lessons already. List lessons cost $20 an hour. Countable nouns are the most common type of noun. If they have only one meaning, or if all their meanings are countable, they are just make it n. For nouns which have a number of meanings, some of which are not countable, each meaning that is countable is make it. See. Uncountable nouns. An uncountable noun has only one form, not a separate singular and plural. Uncountable nouns and uncountable meanings of nouns are made here. They can be used without any determiner in front or with one of the following determiners: enough, little, more, most, much, other, some, that, this. They can also be used with any, no, the, what, which, was. And the possessive determiners my, their, your, and more. Example, electric fires are used to give extra heat in winter. There isn't much space in this room. If an accountable noun is the subject of a verb, the verb is singular. For example, extra money has been made available for this project. Sadness is not the same as depression. With nouns such as furniture, information, and equipment, as with many other accountable nouns, you can talk about amounts of the thing or separate parts of the thing by using phrases like a piece of, these items of, some bits of. Nouns like piece, item, and bit are called partitives when used in this way. For example, I've saved up to buy furniture for my new house. So far, I've got three pieces of furniture: a chair, a table, and a bed. There's are many words for foods and drink which are uncountable nouns. When you need to talk about particular amounts of them, you use partitives. Examples given at dictionary entries show the appropriate words to use. The entry for bread shows you that you can use loaf, slice, or piece. Bread, a food made of flour, water, and yeast. Mix it together and then bake it. A loaf or slice or piece of bread. Wholemeal bread, brown or white bread. Pictures. Some nouns also have a separate countable meaning which is used to refer to a particular amount of food or drink. For example, how much sugar do you take? 2 teaspoonfuls of sugar, please. How many people want coffee? Could we have 4 cups of coffee, please? The dictionary shows the two different meanings, one labeled U and the other labeled C. Similarly, some nouns have a special countable meanings for a particular type of the thing they refer to. For example, I bought some cheese today. There were 3 small pieces of cheese and an apple on the plate. I bought three different cheeses. I bought 3 different cheeses, different types of cheese today: cheddar, camembert, and Edam. Some nouns are made C U or U C. These nouns can be countable or accountable without changing their meanings. Nouns has plural verbs. Plural nouns has plural verbs. A noun matrix is always plural in form. It behaves like a plural countable noun, and when it is the subject of a verb, the verb is in the plural. Nouns which refer to things which have two parts joined together. For example, glasses, trousers, and sensors behave like this. You can usually also talk about a pair of trousers, a pair of sensors, and more. For example, I am going to buy some new trousers. I'm going to buy a new pair of trousers. An example is given in the intro for the noun to show that it can be used in this way. Nouns that look singular has plural verbs. Some plurals nouns look as if they are singular. They are marked PLV to show that they are used with a plural verb. Nouns like this usually refer to a group of people or animals of a particular type when they are considered together as one unit. One unit. Uh, Police, for example, police are searching for a man who escaped from Pentovilla prison today. The cattle are the cattle are fed on barley and grass. Adjectives that refer to a group of people of the same type or in the same situation can also be made into nouns of this type. They are always used with the in. They are always used with the in front of them. It is a myth that the rich are getting poor and the poor are getting richer. Nouns have singular verbs. A noun make it sing is always singular in form, and when it is the subject of a verb, the verb is in the singular. Many nouns like this can be used in only a limited number of ways. For example, some singular nouns must be or are often used with a particular determiner determiner in front of them or with a particular preposition after them. The correct determiner of preposition is shown before the definition. Look at sense in the intro of dash. This sense is marked C expressing, indicating that dash in this sense is a countable noun, but that it is very often singular. The pattern A of something shows you which determiner and preposition to use. Dash, sing, a sudden run or forward movement. Make a dash for freedom or shelter. We jumped into the car and made a dash for the ferry. Mother said lunch was ready and there was a mad dash for the table. A short running race, a sprint, the 100 meters dash. A small amount of something added or mixed. A dash of lemon juice. The flag adds a dash of color to the great building. A short level line used in writing, printing, and Morse code. Liquid striking something or the sound this makes. The dash of waves on the rocks. A dash of water in this face will revive him. Nouns that look plural hash singular verbs. Some accountable nouns look as if they are plural. They are make it think V to show that they are used with a singular verb. Linguistics is a science, but literature is one of the arts subjects. Darts is played in pubs in Britain. Nouns are singular or plural verbs. Countable group nouns. A noun make CGP is like a countable noun because it has a singular form and a plural form. However, in British English, the singular form can be used with a plural verb as well as a singular one. Nouns like these usually refer to a group of people or an organization and can be thought of either as the organization of groups singular or as a man or as many individual people plural. In the dictionary, an example is often given to show agreement with a singular and a plural verb. For example, the committee has or have decided to dismiss him. The bird is or are happy about falling sales. Note that in American English, a singular verb is usually used with the singular form of a countable group noun. Group nouns. A noun make GP is always singular but is used with either and it is always singular. A noun make GP is always singular but is used with either a singular or plural verb. Such nouns usually refer to a group of people who do a particular job, have a particular opinion, are of a particle type, or who are represented by an official place such as the White House or the Kremlin. For example, some of the press has or have been criticized for their coverage of the story. The Vatican has or have issued a future a further the Vatican has or have issued a further statement this morning. Think or PLV, plural nouns hash singular or plural verbs. A noun make it think or PLV looks as if it is plural but can be used with either a singular or a plural verb. For example, turn left at the traffic lights and the army barracks. Let's start. Turn left at the traffic lights and the army barracks is or are on your left. The company's headquarters is or are located in New York. Adjectives. Adjectives are labeled ADJ in this dictionary, abbreviated as ADJ. Many can be used both before and now. A serious expression, brown leaves, and after a linking verb, for example, be, because, became, seem, turn. She looked serious. The leaves turn brown in autumn. The leaves turn brown in autumn. Adjective. Some adjectives or particular meanings of adjectives are always used before a noun and cannot be used after a linking verb. These are labeled attributive. The labels used attribute or attribute are used when it is rare but possible to use the adjective after verb. Look, for example, at cheer, where sense and a labeled attribute and used attribute sense has no label because it can be used both before a noun and after a linking verb. Cheer, often used for implies complete, nothing more than sheer nonsense, a sheer waste of time. The sheer size of the building was enough to impress the visitors. Her success was due to sheer hard work. Thin, light, and almost transparent. Sheer nylon. Very steep, a sheer rock face or cliff. It is a it is a sheer drop to the sea. Pred. Adjectives labeled predicative. Predicative. Are used only after a linking verb, never before a noun. Look at the entry for asleep. Both senses must be used after a verb, and so pred immediately follows the adjective label. Asleep, sleeping. The body, the baby was asleep upstairs. Don't wake up. Don't wake her up. She's fast. Or sound asleep. Sleeping deeply. He fell asleep during the lecture. I've only just got up and I'm still half asleep. Not fully awake. Of limbs, having no feeling, numb. I've been sitting on my leg and now it is asleep. Follows and as a few adjectives such as designates always follow the noun they describe. This is indicated in the dictionary by the label following ENS. Designates appointed to a job but not yet having officially started it. An interview with the director or archbishop designate. Verbs. Look at the following. Look at the following sentence. He said, she cut her hands. The soup tasted salty. Each sentence has a subject, he, she, the soup, and a verb, say, cut, taste. In the first sentence, say stands alone. Verbs like this are called intransitive. In the second sentence, cut is transitive because it requires an object, her hand. In the third sentence, Taste has no object, but it cannot be used alone without an adjective. An adjective, like salty, that gives more information about the subject of a verb is called a complement. The following pages explain the codes used in this dictionary to show you how intransitive verbs, transitive verbs, and verbs that take a complement are used. The codes for verbs which take clauses. The code for verbs which take clauses. I explained it on page B6 8. B6 to 8. Compare the following sentence. She can drive. She drives a fast car. The verb drive is used in both sentences. In the first, it is used intransitively without an object, and in the second, it is used transitively with the noun plus a fast car as the object. In the dictionary, grammatically, codes and examples show you exactly how each verb is used in each of its meanings. Drive. Drive. Drove at the past participle, driven. To operate, control, and direct the course of a vehicle. Can you drive? He drives a taxi. That is his job. I drive on a Renault. To come or go somewhere by doing this. Did you drive or go by train? I drive to work. I drive to work. Don't stop, drive on. Don't stop, drive on. Note at travel. To take somebody somewhere in a car, taxi. Could you drive me home or to the airport? Also VNP. The code in scope brackets shows how drive is used in the example or examples that follow. The first code given in sense 1 is V, showing that drive can be used without an object as an intransitive verb. This is followed by an example showing drive used intransitively. The next code, VN, shows you that drive can also be a transitive verb with a noun plus as the object. It is followed by two examples showing drive used transitively. Transitive verbs VNP VNADV VNP. Transitive verbs must have an object. The object can be a noun or a pronoun, a noun phrase or a clause. Page B6 to 8. Explain verbs which take a clause as the object. The codes used to show a transitive verb is VN. Verb hash noun phrase. Jill's behavior annoyed me. Most transitive verbs can be used in the passive. I was annoyed by Jill's behavior. If a transitive verb cannot be used in the passive, this is shown at the dictionary entry. Effort, no passive use with can, could, or be able to. To have enough money, time, space, and more. For practical purpose, VN, V to inf. They walked because they couldn't afford to take a taxi. Like intransitive verbs, some transitive verbs are often used with a prepositional phrase, an adverb, or an adverbial particle which is closely connected with the verb. The codes and examples show you which type of word or phrase is used with a particular verb. VNPL, verb hash noun phrase hash prepositional phrase. Peter drove me to the airport. VNADV, verb hash noun phrase hash adverb. That script that script fits you very well. That script fits you very well. VNP, verb noun phrase hash particle. He gathered this he gathered up his papers and left. If a particle if a particular preposition if a particular preposition, adverb, or particle must always be used with a verb, it is shown before the definition. Dedicate oneself or something to something or doing something. To give or devote oneself, time, effort, and more, to a good cause or purpose. Dedicate oneself to one's work. She dedicated her life to helping the poor. Somebody to address something one has written. Each a book or a piece of music to somebody as a way of showing respect. VNPL, she dedicated her first book to her teacher, E.G. By putting his name at the front. That song was dedicated to Lynette from her husband Peter. As with intransitive verbs, brackets are used to show that a particular preposition, adverb, or particle is often but not always used with a verb. Look, for example, at the entry for cover. The particle up or over can be used alone after the object of the verb, or followed by a prepositional phrase using with. It is also it is also possible to use a prepositional phrase without either up or over. These patterns are illustrated in the examples. Cover something up or over with something, to place something over or in front of something in order to hide or protect it. VNPR, cover the chicken loosely with foil. She covered her face with her hands. He covered the cushion with new material. VN, VNP, VNPS. He covered up the body with a sheet. VNPR, VNP. She covered her knees up with a blanket. VN, VNP. The hole was quickly covered over. VN, Fig. Fig. He logged to cover, hide his no, nervousness, nervousness, nervousness. Transitive verbs has two objects. VNN. Look at the following examples. I sold Jim a car. I bought Mary a book. Verbs like sell and buy can be used with two objects. This is indicated by the codes VNN. You can often express the same idea by using the verb as an ordinary transitive verb and adding a prepositional phrase starting with to or for. For example, I sold a car to Jim. I bought a book for Mary. The dictionary entry shows you before the definition which preposition to use. So important. Buy, it is something for somebody. To obtain something by paying money for it. House prices are low. It is a good time to buy. Where did you buy that coat? Did you buy your car new a Did you buy your car new or second hand? I bought this watch from a friend for this man $10. She's buying a present for her boyfriend. I must buy myself a new shirt. A new shirt. Linking verbs. VADG, VN, VNADG, VNN. Look at the following sentences. Her voice sounds hers. Elena became a doctor. In this sentence, the verb sound become is followed by a complement and adjective hers or a noun phrase a doctor which tells you more about the subject. A verb like this is called a linking verb or copula. Verbs which have an adjective as the complement have the code VH, and verbs which a noun phrase as the complements have the code VN. If a linking verb can be used with either an adjective or a noun phrase, the dictionary entry shows both uses. There are also verbs which take both an object and a complement. For example, she considered herself lucky. They elected him president. The complement lucky president tells you more about the object herself, him, or the verb. The code VNH shows you that a verb is transitive and takes an adjective as the complement, while the code VNN indicates a transitive verb that takes a noun phrase as the complement. Look for example at sentence 8 of COM. Verbs used with clauses. Look at the following sentence. George complained that it was too hot. I can't decide whether to have chocolate or strawberry ice cream. Don't forget to lock don't forget to lock the door. He enjoys dancing with Mary. Jane asked, is the food cold? All these sentences contain a verb complain, decide, forget, enjoy, ask, which is used with a clause. In this dictionary, the types of clause that can be used with verbs are called that clause. Double H clause, infinitive clause, ing clause, and direct speech. Verbs hash that clause v dot vn dot vpr dot. Although this type of clause is called the verb clause, it is not always necessary to use the word that itself. I said that she would come. I said she would come. These two sentences mean the same. Both should say used with a that clause. These two sentences mean the same. Both should say used with a that clause. The code for a verb which takes a that clause is v that verb hash that clause. For example, I think I'll go swimming before lunch. I think that I'll have a rest. Some verbs can be used with both a noun phrase and a that clause. The code for verbs used like this is vn dot verb hash noun phrase hash that clause. Can you remind me that I need to buy some milk? I told her I would be late. Some verbs are followed by prepositional phrase, often with to, instead of a noun phrase. These verbs have the code VPR dot verb hash prepositional phrase hash that clause. I suggested to John that that he should get more exercise. I suggested to John that the I suggested I suggested I suggested I suggested to John that he should get more exercise. The dictionary entry shows which types of that clause you can use. Whisper, to speak or say something quietly. This is its meaning. It is the meaning of whisper. Is whisper is to speak or say something quietly, using only one's breath, so that only the people closest to one can hear. Don't you know it's rude to whisper? Can you meet me tonight? He whispered. He leaned over and whispered something in her ear. That VPR that she whispered to me that she was afraid. Also VPR, VN, VPR to inf. Verbs hash double h h close. V double H V N double H V P R double H A double H close is a clause beginning with one of the following words: which, what, those, why, where, the when, who, whom, how, if, whether. The code used in this dictionary for a verb which takes a double H clause is V double H verb hash double H clause. For example, I wonder that the new job will be like. He doesn't care how he looks. Did you see which way they went? Some verbs can be used with both a noun phrase and a double H clause. The code for verbs used like this is VN double H. Verb hash noun phrase hash double H clause. For example, I asked him where the library was. I told her when the baby was due. He teaches his students how to how to research a subject properly. Some verbs have a prepositional phrase, usually with two, instead of a noun phrase. These verbs have the code VPR double H, verb prepositional verbs hash prepositional phrase hash double H clause. For example, can you explain to me why you isolate? Can you explain to me why you isolate? Examples at an entry show you which type of double H clause you can use. Ask somebody is about somebody or something. To request information by means of a question. Where are you going? She asked. She asked about my future plans. Ask him about the ring you lost. Someone may have handed it in to the receptionist. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Did you ask the price? She asked them their names. V double H. He asked where I lived. VN double H. I had to ask the teacher what to do next. V double H V N double H. She asked me if I could drive. V. I am not insisting. I'm only asking. Verbs hash infinitive clause. The following examples show the infinitive form of the verb. Eat, talk, dance. To eat, to talk, to dance. Eat and to eat are both infinitives. Eat is called a bare infinitive, and to eat is called a to infinitive. Most verbs talking and infinitive are used with the to infinitive. The code for these verbs is V2 infin. Verb hash to infinitive. For example, the goldfish need to be fed. Children learn to read quite quickly. Some verbs can be used with both a noun phrase and a to infinitive. Infinitive. The noun phrase can be the object of the main verb, or the noun phrase and the infinitive clause together can be the object. When the noun phrase is the object of the main verb, the code is VN to inf. With that, place it after the n to show that the noun phrase is connected more closely to the main verb than to the infinitive. Can you persuade Sheila to share the meeting? She was forced to hand over the case. When the noun phrase and the infinitive clause together are the object of the main verb, the dot is placed between the V and the NVN to inf to show that the noun phrase is connected closely to the infinitive. No. I expected her to pass her driving test first time. We'd love we'd love you to come and visit us. Some verbs take a prepositional phrase, usually with to, instead of a noun phrase, and have the code VPR to infer. Verb has prepositional phrase and to infinitive. Extremely low battery power. That's my cell phone. Verbs hash infinitive clause. The following examples show the infinitive form of the verb. Eat, talk, dance, to eat, to talk, to dance. No, at least I passed over here. Of this. Yeah. We'd love you to come and visit us. Some verbs take a prepositional phrase, usually with to, instead of a noun phrase, and have the code VPR to inf. Verb hash prepositional phrase hash to infinitive. He shouted to Jane to ring the police. Only two groups of verbs are used with a buried infinitive. One is the group of modal verbs or modal auxiliaries. These are the special verbs like can, must, and will, which go before a main verb and show that an action is possible, necessary, and more. These verbs are in a separate group in the dictionary and are labeled modal verbs. A small group of ordinary verbs, for example, see and hear, can be used with a noun phrase and a bare infinitive. The code for this is VN if notum. Verb hash noun phrase hash infinitive with a warning that the infinitive does not have to before it. For example, did you hear the phone ring just then? Just then. She watched him eat his lunch. Verbs hash ing clause. An ing clause is a clause containing a present participle. The present participle is the form of a verb that ends in ing. Ing. For example, doing, eating, or catching. Sometimes the ing clause consists of a present participle on its own. The codes the code for a verb which takes an ing clause is VNG. Verb hash ing clause. She never stops talking. I started working on my essay today. Some verbs can be used with both a noun phrase and an ing clause. The noun phrase can be the object of the main verb, or the noun phrase and the ing clause together can be the object. When the noun phrase is the object of the main verb, the code VN ing gives the dot after the n and before the ing clause to show that the noun is connected closely with the main verb. For example, his comments set me thinking. I can smell something nice cooking. When the noun phrase and the ing clause together are the object of the main verb, the dot is placed after the v and before the n, vn and g, to show that the noun phrase is connected closely to the ing clause. I hate him joking. The fact that the jokes about serious things. In this pattern, you can replace him with the possessive pronoun his. I hate his joking about serious things. The dictionary entry often shows both forms within a single example. Extremely low bacteria. Extremely low bacteria. Verbs hash direct speech. Verbs like say, answer, and demand can be used either to report what someone has said using a that clause, or to give their exact words in direct speech using quotation marks. Verbs which can be used with direct speech have the code V speech. Compare V speech. It is snowing, she said, and she said that it was snowing. I put off the flash because the battery is going very bad. Battery is low. Writers, writers often make a story more interesting by using verbs like love or protest as speech verbs so that they can show more about the way in which something is said. Oh no, not again. Jane laughed. I can't believe you did that. He exploded. Verbs in different patterns. Many verbs, for example, watch, can be used in a single. It can be used in a number of different ways. I watched him eat. I watched him eating. Watched the pianist's left hand. I watched how the pianist used her left hand. The dictionary entry for each verb shows the different ways in which it can be used by giving a range of example sentences. The code before each example shows what type of grammatical pattern is being used. When an example follows another one illustrating the same pattern or patterns, the code is not repeated. Some patterns are possible after a particular verb but are less common. These are not shown in example sentences, but the codes for them are given at the end of the entire or at the end of a particular sentence. Yes, for you which watch the video till the end, thanks for taking this, and you all always welcome into this channel of my own. My name is Valdo Mário. I'm from Mozambique. Goodbye. Don't forget, leave your like, comment, and share.